is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to Vintage RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire, and thankfully, my voice has returned. Joining me, as always, is the founder and publisher of Unwinnable, Stu Horvath. He hit me with the topic a few minutes ago. I don't really have a joke for today, so we're just going with it. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Hanging in there. Living.
Yeah, man, living.
Continuing to.
Yeah, I'm going to say it at the top of the show because I think it's probably one of the most important things that's happened in the realm of the things that we're into. But, rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne.
I've been listening to my Black Sabbath records for the last couple of days.
As everyone should be. It's really interesting when I think about it. We often talk about on this show, and we're going to do a little, I've just decided, surprise, little sidebar before we actually get into it. We always talk about the show, the intersection of heavy metal and fantasy RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. Like it's peanut butter and jelly, it's chocolate and peanut butter. It's two great tastes that go great together. Mm-hmm. I definitely think that as much credit as Gygax gets for the creation of Dungeons and Dragons, Ozzy Osbourne should get equal, if not more, for heavy metal.
Oh yeah,
and for basically like the entire subculture that we appreciate so much would not exist without Ozzy and Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath, the song on Black Sabbath, the debut album, is like the recording of the birth of heavy metal, and I will brook no argument against that. It's just like that, the guitar and his like terrified vocals are just like, they're so good. So it's interesting now that he's gone. Like, this is sort of a little sad maybe, but I appreciate their place in like the vast web of metal and music more. Like, because I never would have sat down and been like, I'm going to listen to all my Black Sabbath records over the next few days. Like, I like to listen to one at a time. Honestly, Sabotage is my favorite, so I listen to that a lot.
You do listen to that one a lot, yeah.
Dude, Symptom of the Universe is the second heaviest song ever written. The first is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath on the next album. That song is crazy because it's like almost 50 years old, and it is like still remains one of the heaviest riffs ever recorded. Like it like usually music like speeds up over time and gets a little bit heavier as much as you can, but dang, that song. Anyway, but I don't usually listen to Volume 4 or what's the black one? Is it Masters of Reality?
Yeah.
Sitting there and kind of having it on in the background, I could hear like the connections to all this other music. Not even like, couldn't even like run down a list, outside of the actual like really obviously influenced by Black Sabbath bands. But it's like everywhere. Like I heard some one song sounds like Tribulation, or I guess Tribulation sounds like one song, and like it's just like there's a big gap between like what Sabbath was and what Tribulation is currently in terms of like their sound. But like there's still connections, and it's just they are heavy metal in a way that like no other band. I think that the only band that might stand outside of that is Iron Maiden, because their sound is so like weirdly unique.
Yeah, they are Iron Maiden. Like that's.
But like even like Judas Priest is like, as much as I think that Judas Priest is maybe like the ultimate metal band in a lot of ways, like they owe so much. Like the White Blues in Judas Priest is like so. It just springs right out of Sabbath. His vocals were crazy. Like he was just like a guy. Like his vocals were fantastic. He had a wild range, and like there was so much like nervous emotion in them that like he sells everything. Like even like a song like Changes that I've always thought sucked because it was soft.
Yeah.
And it's soft and it's trite. You listen to the lyrics and they're just like, oh God. But like his vocal performance sells that song and makes it like if it was anybody else, like I would skip it, but I let it play. And then you hear like, what's his name who covered it? The soul singer.
Oh, yeah.
And like I think that like, oh yeah, this is just like a trite ass song about feelings and whatever. But then you hear his cover, and you're just like, holy crap, no, this was a great song. And it's just like, I can't even hate on it. And that cover makes the original even better. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, in the most recent thing, it was Charles Bradley.
Charles Bradley, yeah.
Yes, I was Googling it as fast as my fingers would allow me.
He's insane too. Like
Oh,
just a fantastic singer. Like some of his stuff is just phew.
Yeah, but more recently, Youngblood, who's a newer artist, did it at the Back to the Beginning concert, the Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath massive tribute concert that they did. It was the farewell show, essentially, in Black Sabbath's hometown, which is crazy because, like, as I was thinking about it, I was talking to Sally about it, and Sally was like, yeah. She's like, isn't it cool that he got to go to his own wake?
Yeah.
Because when you really think about it, it was just a day of nothing but people who loved him, like paying homage to him and like saying nice things about him and like hanging out and having cake and like all his pals showed up there. Like and listen, it's sad that Ozzy passed, but like I have definitely enjoyed my feeds being nothing but pictures of Ozzy, songs about Black Sabbath, people talking about how much Ozzy meant to them and like their favorite concerts and moments and clips versus any of the other bullshit we get inundated with on a day-to-day basis. So if anything, Ozzy's one gift was we get to remember why heavy metal and Ozzy Osbourne so important. And the other thing is, dude, his last show, raised $190 billion for children's hospitals and Parkinson's research.
It's crazy. Biggest charity concert ever.
And
like,
it was
blowing out Live Aid, like all that stuff. Like,
because, the money really went to where it's supposed to go. So like his last act was to hang out with his friends and raise a shit ton of money to help children and people with Parkinson's. Prince of Darkness. He's got a big heart.
I mean, I think that this is also an argument about never retiring. Like as soon as it's like the cop cliche, the cop show cliche. It's like, oh, he's got his 20 in and he's retiring and he dies 10 days later.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing. But he lived a full life. I don't I have zero, like, I don't have any sads about Ozzy. Like that dude enjoyed himself thoroughly.
Yeah.
And made an indelible mark on music. Like, good for him, man. I'm glad he lasted as long as he did. Like,
that in itself was a miracle. I would even say that like his late era stuff is also good. It's good, but it's good in a different way. It's good in the way of a person who just still enjoys making music. Like he's like doing things like Elton John and shit. Like the dude got to do it all. Obviously, a lot of people are familiar with the 80s Ozzy Osbourne, and then people who came in a little later. I mean, obviously Black Sabbath, but people came in a little later, No More Tears in 1991, which surprisingly has a lot written by Lemmy on there, which is amazing.
The Hellraiser cover on that is pretty great.
Right? Oh, my God. I will say, though, my favorite Ozzy Osbourne song on Osmosis, if we're talking about like solo material, and people look at me kind of cocked eyebrow when I say this, but man, Perry Mason.
Oh yeah, Perry Mason's a great song. It's interesting. Like most bands, like they hit that era. That it's like the transition era from what, like they're the top act, and then they just keep going. There's almost always a point where I'm just like, I don't care about any of this anymore. And I've definitely done that with Iron Maiden. But Ozzy, I feel like his half-life for me lasts much longer. Like there are songs on Osmosis. There's like weird collaboration tracks. He did a cover of Pictures of Matchstick Men with Typo Negative. That's pretty great.
Crazy.
And it's just like well after I was done with Ozzy, like generally he would like kind of come back in, and there was a song off of one of the more recent albums. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I was just like, this ain't bad. Like I'm never gonna put it on, but like, and people get into it, like that's their way in, and that's cool. I'm a big fan. My first Ozzy album was No Rest for the Wicked. That's Zakk Wylde era, and like I kind of can't stand Zakk Wylde's guitar work, but like,
oh, I love it.
There's some cool songs on that album. I really like that album as much as like it's like completely different from the earlier stuff. Yeah, he was a character, man.
And that's the one thing, man. If you are into metal, no matter what, your common ground that you will meet with any metalhead is Black Sabbath. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things. It's like I may not listen to them all the time, but I respect them and I get it. And like someone's like, yeah, man, I love Black Sabbath. They're like, yeah, man, Black Sabbath's cool. Like, you're not going to ever hear anybody say Black Sabbath sucks. And if they do, don't be friends with that person.
Well, they have their moments.
Well, I mean, blanket Black Sabbath. And granted, there was two Black Sabbaths, because there was like Ozzy Black Sabbath and there was Heaven and Hell Dio Black Sabbath. And I mean, obviously we could go down, but basically when someone says, yeah, man, Black Sabbath, if anyone immediately says Black Sabbath sucks, do not be friends with that person.
Like, yeah, nobody likes Technical Ecstasy or Never Say Die, but like,
I've never met a person who's like, yeah, that's my favorite Black Sabbath album. And I
know
get it.
people who like, I know people who insist that the Acrobat song,
Oh, yeah.
is it on Never Say Die? I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, some of the tracks on those albums are good because I put on an essential playlist just to kind of go through everything. And then once it got through the essential playlist, which included songs from those albums, it all blends kind of seamlessly together. Just certain albums aren't just great on the whole for various different reasons. And also we don't count the Tony Iommi solo Black Sabbath album where he was, hey, I'm Black Sabbath, but it's just Tony Iommi. But we understand. Don't be friends with anyone who says Black Sabbath sucks. Ozzy rules. Rest in peace. I guess we should get to the actual episode right now.
Yeah, I gotta say, National Acrobat is the song, and it's on Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. So I know of no good songs on Technical Ecstasy or the other one. And I honestly, Mob Rules, not as good as Heaven and Hell. If we're gonna go,
I mean, I feel like that's just. I mean, listen, we could go one of two ways here. We could actually talk about Dark Sun, or we could just keep talking about heavy metal.
No, well, it's interesting that we're talking. So Dark Sun, when in the 90s, when Dark Sun came out, that was right around the time that our friend Ed Coleman came into the group. He moved from Jersey City into Kearney, and Dark Sun was his game. That's what he ran initially. And he had the box set, and I've been trying to piece together like who had what when. Dragon Kings came out right before, in 1992, right before I graduated from 8th grade. Going into high school. So Ed had come in 7th grade. We become friends, and like in 8th grade, at some point, he had started to run Dark Sun periodically for us. And that was like, Dark Sun came out in 91. So like there was a year of like periodic play. But Ed is also at the time was like my Black Sabbath friend, really, really deeply into Sabbath and Ozzy, early Ozzy. And so it's interesting that and I'm literally talking about Dark Sun because I remember when we graduated, like the night of finishing 8th grade, I was hanging out at Ed's house and we were talking partly about Dragon Kings, which is a book that I had just gotten. Look, I bought it. It wasn't my campaign. It was one of those moves. Like I was like, oh, I got to get this book because the cover is just that good. I have to get this hardcover book. And then the art inside is pretty great too. And it was just like, Ed, I got a book for your game.
Did you?
You know how those things are. But Dragon Kings. So I did a series of posts on the first 5 Dragonlance Adventures box sets last week. So I've just been sort of thinking about this book.
I will say this real quick. D&D is such a funny thing because you always end up with the one person who runs the game, right?
Yeah.
And like when these new things come out, you are essentially buying a gift for yourself that you're telling someone else is a gift, but really it's for you. Because it's like going to the supermarket and you're like, oh, I'm going to buy these ribeyes. And you take it to your friend's house. You're like, here, I bought you some ribeyes. Oh, yeah. Now please cook it for me.
Right. There's all sorts of weird dynamics. Like, was I usurping Ed's game? No, I had no desire to really run Dark Sun. But did Ed have any desire to run Dark Sun at that point? I don't know. It was like, but like I needed to own this book because the cover is that good.
Yeah.
So Dark Sun, we know it's sort of like the post-apocalyptic Mad Max, Dying Earth riff for D&D, and it came out. It was supposed to be called, I believe, War World or Battle World, something like that. It was supposed to be like a much more fully integrated crossover between D&D and battle system, where like it was just the idea of like having these huge like war game scale army conflicts going on with like wild apocalyptic stuff sort of in the background. And in a lot of ways Dragon Kings is sort of the collection of all that stuff that got tossed from the core game because it didn't fit. And because it got refined more and more, it became something that they did not intend it to be initially. And a lot of the foundational stuff that they had come up with was removed. And actually, depending on the Dark Sun publication, Dragon Kings is one of them. You can see the residue of whatever that previous campaign settings name was, because it says in the logo it's Dark Sun, which is like, yeah, that's the name of it. But then if you look carved into the stone, it says World underneath, and that's just like, well, that's a weird thing to stick there, because I believe it was like called like Battle World or like War World or whatever. And that remains. Anyway, so Dragon Kings is actually a pretty terrible D&D book.
So it's a good thing that we front loaded this episode, all the talk of Ozzy. Go on.
Well, it's not, I love it because it shows it's an artifact of ambition to do something extremely different that was, you could tell, stymied by the larger creative process, which, cool stuff. Oh, kill your darlings, like stuff that you really want to do often gets removed from the final product. Probably there was some corporate interference, because that's just like the story of TSR.
Fair play.
But like it's a great book. It's a cool book because you can see like the alternate future, or the alternate history, the thing that might have happened had like Dark Sun been different, or like if this book was more thoroughly integrated into the game. It's basically the manual for high level play in Dark Sun. Now, Dark Sun, you start at level 3. That was sort of like that was one of the signifiers that, oh, this is harder. Your beginning characters are starting at level 3. And it's a really hard game to survive because the environment is so difficult and like deadly. There's no metal, like a lot of the things that you rely on. Magic, it works much differently. So survivability is a real factor in Dark Sun. And just the idea of having a robust book for high level play is dumb because most characters aren't going to make it, like it's just highly unlikely. At least, in theory. It's D&D, it's a power fantasy, so you could always get there. There's 3 things in the book that are important to me as a human being who likes things. One is a lot of the art. When I got this book, I was still approaching Dark Sun as if it was a contest between 2 artists. The 2 artists.
Yeah. Wow.
It's Gerald Brom. He did a lot of the covers, and then a lot of the interior work was Tom Baxa, who I did not like as much as Brom. Brom is easy to like. Like there's a smoothness, there's a sex appeal in his work. If you don't look at a Brom painting and find something to like, I feel like you're kind of odd. Whereas Baxa is like all of these weird angles, sharp points, dark shadows, really strange perspectives, shifts in a single piece. Like there's a lot of distortion, a little bit harder to like. So back then I was just very much like, oh, I like Brom and I don't like Baxa. I have since learned my lesson because Baxa is a fantastic artist once you kind of understand what he's doing. And I mean, Brom isn't not a fantastic artist. He's always like great.
Yeah, of course.
You can tell when he's phoning it in, but even then, like it's just like, man, I wish that like I had any kind of talent that was at that level where he's just like it's just there's a level of technique in his work is just mind blowing.
Yeah, I wish that I had the talent of an artist like Brom that was phoning it in.
Yeah. Like somebody posted a comment on Warriors of Heaven, which I posted like ages ago, and they were just like, "Oh, I'm glad I read this because it saved me the $70." And they were just like, "And the cover is weak," and I was just like, "Well, that's a Brom cover." I was like, "But it is kind of weak because it's an angel. Like, it's just not as cool." Like, and you can tell that like the art director was like, "Don't do like your weird BDSM stuff. So let's just have it be a nice angel." But at the same time, it's still like in terms of just pure technique, it's just like a monstrous painting that I would never, in a decade of practice, be able to pull off. So Brom doesn't usually show up in the interiors. He's the tease on the cover of Dark Sun, but you open the book and it's almost always all Baxa. Disappointing for 1991 Stu. Dragon Kings is the rarity in that there is a lot of actual Brahm artwork on the inside. And one of the things that he did work for is the war vehicles chapter, which again, this is not something I ever wanted to play. This is all like the battle system army list kind of stuff, and like trying to figure out how to like do incorporate like large scale warfare in the game. And I don't care. It even back then it did not appeal to me. What did appeal to me though were Brahms. These had to be early, process production sketches for like what was going to be in the game, because they really don't line up with anything else in Dark Sun broadly. But like there's like these chariots like drawn by dinosaurs. There's like a glider made out of like a corpse of a dinosaur.
That's awesome.
There's like this drill machine that looks like What If He-Man but Mad Max. The silt skimmer, it was always a favorite. It's like this big thing that has like it's like a boat that has like big, I don't know, like paddle wheels, but it's not in water because there is no water on Athos. There's silt, so it's like you got to sail the silt sea with a paddle boat that like looks like a kid's sandbox toy.
Right.
But then there's the best. God, I wish the game grew or was developed in a way that it could encompass in some way, without large scale mass combat, the undead war beetle. It's just such a cool thing. It's a beetle that's undead, but like it looks like, it sort of looks like as if like you put like a beetle head and legs on Jabba's sail barge.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's like a little roofed awning, like with like a tarp, and like you can see all these dudes. And like the inside of the beetle is obviously hollowed out so that there's troops inside. It's one of the coolest things. No one ever used this in a game ever. Like it's not something that is easily insertable in anything but like a ridiculous, war game. But it's one of those things that has lived on. It has taken up space in my brain since 1992. And I will always be a little sad that I never got maybe I'll put it in the West Marches game, just to like completely ruin everybody's day.
Don't let them know that. I mean, geez, man.
No, the fear is in the anticipation, Hambone.
Okay.
I've learned that just like a little mention of something here and there, or just like even like a oh boy, like really goes a long way to heightening the terror.
It's happening.
The other two things that Dragon Kings has is the super high level play for the magic user classes. So there's preservers who only take a little bit of the life energy out of the world to cast their spells, and then there's the defilers who just like wantonly suck earth energy out of the planet in order to cast super destructive spells. There's a lot of lore behind all of this. Like the reason that the world is all messed up is because of like a series of, it's a combination of like planned genocide and
well, I mean, that'll do it.
And magical environmental disasters visited on like it's like a handful of people who are rich and powerful, just ruining the world. It's weird how prescient Dark Sun is in a lot of ways.
Right.
It seemed ridiculous 30 years ago, but I guess here we are. Anyway, the cool thing about the magic user classes is that once you get to high levels, you can opt to go through the process of becoming either a dragon or what they call an Evangeon, which is like a sort of hippie angel environment, Captain Planet thing.
Right.
One of these things is cooler than the other, sort of, but I'm not going to tell you which. I mean, like, it was badass in 1992 to be like, oh, I could turn into the crazy monster that's on the cover of this. Like, and like setting aside like the whole mass sacrifice and environmental destruction.
I mean, who gives a shit about that?
Yeah. But like now I'm just like, oh wow, it's kind of cool that you could become like this agent of balance and restoration. I think both are interesting actually. But again, just a thing that I'm sure never happened in play. And if it did happen, it didn't happen honestly. Like it
Right.
was not earned the way that it was laid out. Just like, like killing the gods and taking their stuff from deities and demigods. Like that stuff was just like power fantasy. And like it's fine if it got into play, but I do think that it's just like what else were you going to do with this? It's like a toy box of toys that don't actually, they're not the same scale. They don't fit with like my Dark Sun
Right.
GI Joes. Like this was a book of like of crazy that they released. Like it's a bad supplement in a lot of ways, but it's like I love it because it's so outside of expectation, and like it really is the sort of product that could only be made by TSR at this period of time, being as big as they are with the player base that they had and the internal budget that they were willing to throw at stuff. Like this is a pretty fine looking book in terms of like its production value. And it's like and it's a hardcover. They didn't really put out hardcovers that weren't real rule books, core rule books. But like they just kind of put it out because like they had the stuff and they could put it out. Literally no one operates like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's impossible to operate like that. Operating like that actually is unhealthy for the business.
I mean, for so many reasons.
Yeah, like you can't do that. And like the fact that TSR was doing that makes them really special in a lot of ways when wound up accidentally putting really cool stuff into the world. The entire Planescape line is like that.
Yeah.
It was just a super huge amount of money that they spent on something that only a very limited number of people were interested in. And it's wonderful. It was a gift to the world. They didn't realize it. They were just seeing like numbers. They were trying to make numbers go up, and they were the wrong numbers. But and then they died. But sometimes in all the mismanagement, TSR managed to put out some fantastic things. And even though Dragon Kings is arguably not very good as a piece of D&D mechanical paraphernalia, it's still cool as an artifact of what might have been, what could have been.
Yeah, man.
So that's all I got to say about that.
I mean, that works. I mean, especially coming from a long tangent about Ozzy Osbourne. I guess that's your final thought. That works.
Yeah. There's a post on I posted about this ages ago. Like I would be surprised if it was like later than 2018. But you just search that on the site, Dragon Kings. Type it in, clickety clickety clack, and it'll be right there because the search function works.
Isn't that the best?
It is.
Well, this has been another amazing episode of the Vintage RPG Podcast. Stu, where can the people find you on the internets?
They could find me on the internet at vintagerpg.com. But I have two things coming up that I should mention. One, I will be at Gen Con at the MIT booth but most of Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So come by and see me there if you're interested and in town. I'm also doing the RuneQuest panel on Thursday night at 4 or 5, chaired by John Peterson. So you can hear me talk about mythology because that's what's so cool about RuneQuest. And it is just like amazing. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're not going to, or even if you are going to Gen Con, I'm going to be phoning in to the WFMU studios for a special episode of Games People Play Friday at 6 o'clock, August 1st. So I will be in Indianapolis phoning into the studio to talk about Gen Con and other stuff. That's at 91.1 in the New York area, and WFMU.org, online streaming all the time.
WFMU in Jersey City.
The Fun 91, as Michael Shelley likes to call it.
Ooh, I like that. You can find me across the internet at Ham and Egg Publishing. I'm still kind of posting at John McGuire RPG. By the time you hear this, I think Exalted Funeral Summer Sale will be over, but the new and updated version of Zombie Brain Eaters with the absolutely insane Skinner cover is going to be on Exalted Funeral. So go check that out. Written by me and Brian Shutter. Got some corrections in there. tweaked a little bit on the interior. Brand new Skinner cover, which is just insane. Just like holy crap. I have a book with a Skinner cover on it.
It's amazing.
That's what a friggin' world, man. Skinner's one of my favorite artists. Like I don't even know. Just amazing. But yeah, go pick up a copy there. There should be some left, and it is a fun adventure that we definitely have more planned for. Zombie Brain Eaters over on Exalted Funeral. And also, just real quick, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who supported Days of Future Fairhaven on BackerKit. I'm in the process of just hammering away at it to get it on out to you, and I truly appreciate everyone showing up and getting behind the project. It's going to be an absolute blast once you get it to your gaming table. If you like the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Your reviews really do help other listeners to find us. And if you really like the show, why not become a patron? Patreon.com/vintagerepg. We have a $1 tier. For as little as $1 a month, you get the episodes early, sometime like Friday or Saturday or Sunday. At the $5 tier, I run a monthly game. This month, I'm doing 1-900 Fantasy, which is also out now on Exalted Funeral. Stu's got his legendary and very, very deadly West Marches campaign at the $10 tier, and you can also get it on my game with that as well. We have a killer Discord community we'd love for you to be a part of. Patreon.com/vintagerepg. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. Go listen to Black Sabbath. May the dice always roll in your favor. Take care. Thanks for listening. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Schaefer Brown. Edited by R. Alex Murray. Check us out at vintagerepg.com.